I saw this video the other day and I was like, this video reminds me of the mortgage business. See if this at all resonates with you guys. All right. So you're like, man, how does that have anything to do with the mortgage business? Let me show you. The mortgage business to me was like that. Sometimes we work our faces off. We work so hard just to get back to even sometimes. If you guys watch right in the beginning, you see him getting out of the car right here. We are the car for you guys right here. And especially the times that I do these calls with you guys. If you don't carve out some times to work on your business, you'll get wrapped up in that hurricane that business is. And literally in like a year or two or three, you can, it's like how it was in Wizard of Oz. You wake up, you're like, man, where am I? You don't even know. So we are the car in that video right there for you guys. We're the time where you can get in, you get away from the mortgage business a little bit, that you can think, you can work on your life, you can work on your business so that you're moving forward and you're not just in that hurricane feel where you're just fighting to get back to normal and you don't even know where you're going. Okay. So that's what we're doing here, guys. So to start, what the mortgage business is basically, I'm sure you guys remember from school, there's two sides to your brain. There's a left and a right brain. The mortgage business primarily is on the left brain. Very little is on the right brain. So all day long, you're on one side of your brain. You're on numbers, you're on logics, you're on deadlines, you're on details, and that's all left side. The growth happens in your life and your business when you can jump to the right side. Okay. So I know we have a couple of new people on here, and we have a couple of people who've been on for a long time too, but when you hear me doing weird things like breathing and meditating, what I'm doing is I'm trying to reactivate the right side so that we can have cool conversations and get you outside of that logical side of your brain. So guys, really quickly, if you can just focus on your breathing and take your attention right to the center of your chest where your heart lies. And I want you to breathe 3 times to a count of 3 each way. In, 1, 2, 3. And out, 1, 2, 3, right into your heart. So we're going to start. I can feel it that you guys are a little bit calmer and you're on the right side. And once you have a piece of paper and a pen out, or we can jump into the 21st century and you have things like Evernote open or other things on your phone, notations on your phone. What's your core challenge right now? What's your core challenge in your business right now? What are you struggling with? What's your core challenge? What's holding you back? Now, secondly, on that question is, do you feel comfortable asking me for any support around that on this call? Answer that question for yourself, because no works, but you want to be intentional about it. Now, you know what? I don't feel like bringing that up in that group. Okay, cool. And if it's a no, say why. Okay, cool. We're going to come back to that after this exercise that we're about to do. I don't think this one's going to take a super long time, but it's going to not for you. After this exercise, I'm going to say, now I'm open to open it up, and you can put in the chat box, Deryck, please call me. I'd like some. So that's why I said originally that I can go up to 2 hours. I don't want to limit it. If somebody, I want to get to everybody's if we need to. If we have 30 people on here, if 30 people have a challenge. But before that, I want you guys to check something. It's time to take your temperature in terms of some key mindset shifts that have to happen in level 1 in order to get to a level 2. And you can say, dude, what does that mean? Well, level 2 is when people are making over 200,000 and they're getting into that 100 units place. And they start needing to build systems around that so they can go from 200 to 500. In level 1, we start with everybody. Doesn't matter if somebody's doing 100 million already. They start in level 1 because we're checking their mindset and we're getting them educated and clear on what the new marketing is in the world and all this new stuff. Nobody grew up on this, at least if you're my age. If you're over 40, nobody grew up with this, probably over 35 too. So, that's what we do in level 1. But once somebody commits to it and does it, they start blowing up, as you guys see. They kill it. And so that just, all that does is that poses a new problem. And the new problem is like, dude, how do I handle this business now? And that's when you have to start getting systemized on the fulfillment side, and you have to get systemized on your marketing side, and you have to dial that down. So in level 2, that's what we do in level 2. We get really tight on that stuff. But before you can get that hurdles, and you got to pass marketing hurdles. Here are some of the mindset hurdles. And I want you guys to judge yourself. And this is not something where you put this down in order to try to get there. If you're not there, the key thing is to be honest with yourself, because here's the truth. There's not a time limit. It's not like, if you don't get to level 2 in 1 year, then you're out. It's not that. Everybody has a different growth curve, right? And we have people that have been in level 1 3 years, and that's awesome, and that serves them. Okay, totally cool. And if somebody stays for 10, that's cool. So the only thing that matters is that you guys are in integrity with yourself when you're answering these questions, so that you grow, so that you get all of the benefits of these mindsets. Okay. So, okay, guys, the 5 key shifts to get to the next level is something that we're going to go through right now. So what I want you to do is to take out a piece of paper and a pen, and I want you to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being, man, I own this, and 1 being like, I cower in a corner about this. So again, this isn't a judgment. It's not a critical thing. It's not for something for you to be critical on. This is for something for you guys to kind of get shook loose. Are you making progress in these 5 key mental shifts to get to the next level? So let's get right to it. The first one is, I am responsible for everything that happens to me in my life. I am responsible for all the outcomes, for all the results, for everything. When I look around what I have in my life right now, I know that I am responsible for all of that. Versus, and that would be where you'd give yourself a 10, where you have that shift, versus, the reason I don't have the things I want in my life is because of an outside condition. It's either because of the Republicans or the Democrats or the rates, my company, and sometimes it can be company. I know that, but if you're at a good company or you're in a good place, it's because, dude, you don't understand my market. But realtors, all realtors are awful people. If there's an outside condition that you that you get focused in on, no matter what it is, and you think that that's what's holding you back, then you'd be a 1. Again, not to judge yourself on it. I mean, I've had to make this shift in my life. It's one of the key shifts. That's why it's number 1. I don't stand before you guys, by the way, too, and saying that I'm a 10 here. I know that sometimes I'll even struggle with this too. I struggled with it a little bit last week, but I have enough processes in my life now that I was able to go, boom, 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 get out of it. Okay, cool. I was responsible for that. You know what? That was on me. And guys, the beauty of this, just to give a quick lesson on it, is once you make the shift to the I am responsible, is then all it takes to get whatever you desire in your life is just saying, I need to learn and grow, and I got to get better at that. That's it. And when you make that shift, there's nothing that you guys can't do. That's why it's number 1. But when people, and you can see it in other people, you can see if anybody's complaining about an outside condition, you can't change those, right? So even in the event that you don't like who is ever our president right now, we can't really do anything until 4 years. Or in the event that you think that something, the rates or something, or the economy or something, when you see people complaining into that right now and you can't control it, that it's just self-defeating behavior, and they're not growing. So check yourself on this right here. 1 to 10. 10 would be, bro, I'm responsible for everything. Let's get on with it. You're talking too slow because I want to learn. That would be what number I am responsible is. All right, let's go to number 2. Number 2, this is another one that, you know what, sometimes I'm really good at this, and then other times I catch myself on it too. So I don't stand before you as a 10 here either. Are you somebody that understands that growing and changing, building an amazing business takes time, and that you can stay consistent on a daily basis and you don't get attached to results? You say, hey, listen, this is the process and I am going to allow it. So I'm going to go through level 1 on a path that works for me. I'm going to go through a level 2 and build systems and do that and let that path play out. Or are you somebody that's like, forcing would be like this. Yeah, you know what? That whole slow thing you got going on, I really want my bikini body in the next 30 days. So I'm going to do that. Or, you know, in the case of a mortgage business, it's, that's kind of fun, Deryck, the way that you guys talk, but you know what? I'm going to make $1 million starting next month. So how do I do that now? That, just to give you a heads up, would be a 1. Allowing would be a 10. The third one is that a marketing system like ours, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 30 minutes each day max, is freeing because now you know exactly what to do. And all you have to do is wake up and execute. And there's so much peace there versus I got in the mortgage business because of the flexibility. I didn't want to have to do things Monday through Thursday. And so I'm just going to go ahead and keep resisting that. Cool. If that's your deal, as I say, I honor and respect that. I just want to bring it up to you. Or, you know, a 10 in this one would be like, oh no, man, I am lock, stock, and barrel right now. I am white on rice. Now, I don't always do it perfectly, but 3 weeks out of 4, I do pretty well on it. And I take some time off during the Christmas, but I'm right back on during January. And I love that because now I know exactly what to do. So where are you at with that? The fourth one. This is one that took me a long time to learn. And what I'll say is it's like this. Are you a 10? Are you trying to achieve mastery in your lane? Are you trying to be the best that you can be? Or do you get sucked into competing? The story of Michael Jordan was he didn't make his 9th grade team or his JV team or whatever he did in 9th grade, he didn't make. And that fueled him. Well, if he had kept the bar at, I'm going to show you high school players that I can make the team, and he made the team, and then he felt all great about himself, and that was it, you would have never heard of him. And that happens all over the country. But what he did was, I am going to be the best that I can be. And he stopped comparing himself to others, and that's why he became the greatest basketball player of all time. I saw it a lot in the tennis world. I know some of these people in the mortgage world, some of the CEOs of companies, look on and to see how they're doing against other companies, but what they don't do is start feeling bad about that. They know that if they just stay in their lane and they commit to mastering, getting better every single day, that they will go so far past what they can. Guys, you guys are made for so much more. You can do anything you want in this business, anything you want in your life. But we get stuck when we start comparing ourselves. We either start feeling bad that we're not something, or we start, which is just as bad, ready for this, we start feeling good that we're beating somebody. Why? Why is that the bar? Why is that the bar? You guys are much bigger than a branch or a company or an industry, really. So where are you at with that? Mastery would be a 10. Man, I don't even pay attention to anything else. I'm just work on getting better. That's what a 10 would be, a mastery. A 1 would be, I stay up late for a week straight before the scorecard comes out, and I live in utter anxiety and panic to see what my name shows up on that. And I feel a certain way after that comes out. So scorecard comes out. Yes, I'm number 1. Yes, I'm awesome. I'm the best. Or I'm number 472. I'm the worst. Number 5. do you control your day? Do you have set times that you do things? Are you on a time block system? Do you know what you need to accomplish each day? Or when you go to bed, right before you fall asleep and you've just answered the last email and you go, huh, I just basically was reactive all day. The key is, the word that I would use would be emotional resiliency. Are you, can somebody tee off on you and rip you for something that you didn't have any control over, and you're able to not let that affect you, that you're able to stay on task, and that you're being intentional and you're able to still get stuff done? Or does that send you into an emotional spiral where then you lose the next 10 days and you're, having existential questions about, I need to get out of the business, or I need to, that's where we get into things about realtors, right? Like, so a realtor, what'll happen is a realtor tee off on you only because they're having a bad day and they actually needed that commission check to pay for their mortgage. They don't have any money. So they're very anxious. And so sometimes when people are in a very anxious state, they'll tee off, they're just in an emotional state. And then we start saying, okay, every realtor is an emotional mess. Now, what's not true is they're not. Sometimes they're not. They're just regular people. But when the transaction's going down, sometimes they are. So, are you able to stay proactive and kind of let the people sometimes in your life and business to have bad days and that, and you're able to kind of have grace with that? Done? Or do you wake up and just like, oh my God, if somebody tees off on me right now, I'm going to lose it? All right. I am looking for volunteers to go through this with me that want either some feedback or wants to give me some feedback on it. Jeff, why don't you go? Because you just have to. Oh, you guys are being funny with each other.
Volunteer. I'm sorry?
I look at Rick Melville. He's like, 7 is a lame. I'm a 6. All right, Jeff, I saw yours in there. So did I just volunteer you on accident?
I think I just got volunteered, but I'll
okay. I'd love to have a running list so people can prepare. So I see Don Merrick says, I'm going to go to Don Merrick next. I see Linda. Anybody else after that? I'd love, there's Brad. There's Rick Melville. Okay, cool. So that's what we're going to go on. We're going to rip through these guys. I just want to hear it back, and I can see if I can help you out on anything. And then, as I said, we're going to transition into what struggles that you're having. So let's do this, Jeff Lang. Where were you at on number 1?
Number 1, probably the power of 2 or 3 at the most.
Okay. Meaning, what do you like? You find yourself complaining about outside conditions?
Well, I take total responsibility for everything. When I look in the mirror, that's where I find my problems 99.9%.
Okay, so you're a 10 then, what I'd put. So you are.
Yeah, I'm a 10 taking responsibility, but my question was, even though I'm proactive, I run into situations here in the office with this become reactive. And so then,
well, let's go through the 5 real quick.
Then my hair's on fire. So, okay, number 2, allowing versus forcing. I've got the patience of a gnat, so I gave myself a 2.
Okay. You want to improve in that area.
I've got a lot of improving there. Marketing systems are freeing versus limiting. I allow things to get in the way, so I made myself a 3. I find myself not doing things consistently. I'm the guy who lives on the road to hell paved with good intentions.
But are you built into that marketing systems are freeing, or that they're limiting?
Oh, I think that when I do them, they are freeing.
Okay.
But
so
again,
that's really what I was looking for there too. It's a mindset. Like, some people are like, man, doing something every Monday through Thursday is not the right way. I want to be doing.
Oh no, I know. I'm totally bought in. But in the structure that I'm in right here, and this is going to sound like an excuse I'm putting off on others, I allow things to get in the way, and then I get knocked off. At 6 o'clock in the evening, I say, screw it.
Cool.
And I'm sure I'm not the only one.
No, not at all.
Number 4, mastery versus competition. Yeah, in the office, I'm the guy who's known as the guy who puts together the best files and knows the guidelines. And then I don't look at the scorecard. I could care at my age now. I could care less about the scorecard. I want to do what's best for me and my family.
Okay, so
if I make the production trips, fine. If I don't, that's fine too. I really don't care anymore.
Cool. What
I
about,
used to.
right.
Okay.
So yeah, I'd put you high.
Yeah, I mean, I've made myself a 3 or 4 because I had the, I don't, as my son used to say when he was 2 years old, he said, I got the I know wannas.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know if I'd put that in that one, but that's cool. Again, these are just meant for you guys to get kind of knocked loose. So what about number 5?
Number 5,
Proactive versus reactive.
okay, that I put the question out, is it possible to be proactive but become reactive by others? Because I am very proactive, but I allow myself to get sucked into to people who are reactive to everything, and then my hair's on fire throughout the day.
That's
So
an
that's
excellent
my
distinction.
biggest challenges.
Yeah, it's an excellent distinction because I think everybody's going to have that question right there, Jeff, right? Because it's the mortgage business. It sounds all great in there, but then I get in there and then people go, I need this and I need this and I need this and I need this. I think the distinction is, are you able to carve out enough time each day knowing that there's going to be some reactive time, but it's time blocked rather than that it takes over your entire day? I think that's,
and that comes back to the mindset shift. You just do it, as you said early on, just do it first thing and then get it out of the way.
yeah, that's what I'm looking for there, because all I can tell you in my life, it's I have a very regimented, proactive schedule until 10:30 a.m. And then at 10:30, I go into a reactive mode. You know, I what some people call doing the job, working in your business, right? So I have a very, very regimented what I do until 10. I'm available for anybody, like all the reactive stuff. And then I make it.
So you're working on your business to 10:30, then in your business post
In my life too. So that's when I work out. That's when I do all my mindset stuff. That's when I write all my letters. That's when I do all the proactive stuff. So I get what I found out being in the mortgage business and now this business too, is that if I don't do it, I could never go. You guys might be able to do it. I couldn't do it. So
no, it's impossible.
That was my experience. So when I'm coaching and teaching that, I never made these big leaps up until I said, okay, I'm going to take the first part and have it very structured, proactive, that I get everything that I need to get done. And then I just make myself available to you guys, to my team. Sheira knows it's like, okay, 10:30, there's Deryck. Okay, great. And then I'm here till 5:30, right? And I go reactive in that time. But yeah, I will go on tangents during that time. But it's so peaceful for me, because I know no matter what tangent I go on from 10:30 to 6 or whatever happens, that I have the next morning.
I had a very quiet October, November. So I was very proactive, very dialed into the system.
Mm-hmm.
And then as a result, December has exploded up. And
Cool.
so now hair's on fire, full reactive mode. But I realized December needs to be proactive coming into January, February.
Cool.
So it's an internal conflict going on right now.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for sharing that.
Uh-huh.
So the next one I saw was Dawn. You have to unmute yourself, Dawn Merrick.
I did. Can
Okay,
you
cool.
hear anything? Can you hear me?
Number 1, what would you say?
Okay. So initially I said I'm a 10 at
Mm-hmm.
being responsible for my condition, but here's an important distinction I just realized listening to you with Jeff. There's a fine line between being responsible for the condition of everything in your life and being hard on yourself.
Absolutely, there's a distinction there. Great distinction. Yes.
Perhaps being responsible for the condition of everything in my life is more a step. And sorry, guys, because I haven't mastered the fine line between just being hard on yourself versus the responsibility of, hey, I'm responsible for my condition.
You're going in and out a little bit, so let me summarize. Dawn, can you hear me?
I can.
You're going in and out a little bit, so let me summarize for everybody. And let me make a point there. That is such an important distinction, guys. And Dawn, I can't thank you enough for bringing that up, because the reason that most people don't want to say I'm responsible for everything I have in my life right now is because then it leads almost to a depression, because then it's like, oh, but then I suck. I can't believe I'm this age and this hasn't happened, right? And I hear it almost with everybody. So it takes grace right there. And that's why it's hard. But that's why you guys are going to be in the 3% in the world, top 3% in the world, because it does take the shift of saying, looking around your life and going, I got exactly who I am. This is who I am. And this is, and ready for this? But what's so freeing is I don't have to be stuck in that story anymore. I can create a new story. I can be a new person. And that is liberating and freeing and exciting. Is that fair, Dawn?
That is. Because sometimes when you look around and go, wow, this is the result of who I've been and the decisions I've made, it can be debilitating unless you
totally
go, oh, but the good news is I can change it.
Right. So I appreciate you bringing that up because I didn't even get that in that one right there too. And that's awesome. And especially as we age, guys, right? So it's like, because then the next thing goes, I can't believe I'm this age and I only have this and I only have this amount of time left. And what I will tell you is it's shorter than you think it is. So by going, hey, you know what? I can write a new story. It's not next month, but within 18 months to 3 years, I can have an amazing life that is exactly what I wanted. That's the good news. The bad news is that you've gotten everything that you've been so far, but that's okay, right? Like we start from that place.
Yep.
Cool. Number 2.
Allowing versus forcing. So I'm having a problem with where I'm at mind-wise with what's actually happening. So I think I buy into allowing versus forcing at about a 5 or 6. Okay. The performance of allowance versus forcing is about 3. But okay. It's not because I don't believe it. It's not, I don't always execute.
Okay. But so you have awareness about that now, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And that's all we're doing here right now, guys. It's really not nobody to beat anybody up. It's just awareness. Number 3.
Marketing systems are freeing. Yeah. I believe wholeheartedly. Tell me what to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Do it. So I believe in it, and I believe in this system. It's not like that sort of works or that does. I mean, I believe in this system wholeheartedly. I just got to step up now.
Okay. Number 4.
That one I think was a kind of a good thing for me to realize. I think I am low on that, and I do go, oh, I'm 497th. That sucks. Instead of just being the best I can be. So that's that phrase works for me to help me look at things differently. Everything will follow after.
And to help you out with that, if anybody that struggled with that, gratitude is the path out of that, because with gratitude, you can get perspective. And when you guys start thinking of yourselves, if you can evaluate yourselves, like this, even if you're 497th in the company, where are you in the world? I was talking to Sheira the other day. There's still 3 billion people that have never made a cell phone call in this world. So, they're making like $3 a day in some of these places. Okay. They're human beings. It was just luck of the draw that we were born in America and we had the lives that we have, right? I mean, we didn't have anything to do with that. And they didn't have anything to do that they were born in Africa and they don't like us. So understanding and having perspective on that, like, helps a ton. Also, another cool thought that helps with this too, guys, is the richest person, ready for this? The richest years ago did not have what you guys have. The richest person in the world 100 years ago did not have the creature comforts that you guys have now. Only 100 years ago. Think about that one too. Mm-hmm. And that can help out a lot from a gratitude place too. We start comparing each stuff to each other and we lose perspective. So, and then we don't feel good. And then you've been to live events, Dawn. And then when you don't feel good, you can't get business because now you're being somebody that doesn't feel good. And nobody can be around. Does that make sense?
Oh, completely. Especially 6 months of experience. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Cool. And then number 5.
I think the win for me there is just that I'm much more aware of it now. I can can get derailed by either one of those suggestions. Lady for 2 years who bought a condo and used the lender over the weekend. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
2 years? Okay.
That's one of them. I forgot to say that
Yeah.
one, but that's one of them that catches everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. So I do catch myself. I can spiral and derail on that stuff more than I'd like to, but the win is that I'm now aware of it and that I should be making a different choice about it. Be making a different choice about how to feel about it.
Awesome. Great job. So let's go to Linda, and then we're going to Brad.
Hi, good morning.
Hey, how are you?
Great. Doing great.
Number one.
I gave myself an 8 in that category.
Okay.
And honestly, I think I've had a pretty big mind shift in most of these areas in the last several months, perhaps even month. I mean, I recognize them and I have my moments of ups and downs, but what I've come to discover is that when I am exercising on a regular basis, my numbers on all of these categories are much higher.
Let me test you on it too. So the key distinction there is, are you at a place, this is really what it is, that you can look around at everything in your life and say, I'm responsible for everything that I have right now in my life, good, bad, and different. Are you at that place, or is there still some resistance there? No, it's the government's fault, or the Republicans, or the Democrats, or the company, or the rates, or the real, whatever. Are you at that point that you can go, oh, I'm exactly where I am, and then do what Dawn said, and then say, and I give myself grace for that because I don't have to stay here, though. I can change.
Right. No, I'm there.
You feel good.
I gave myself a 6.5 in that category because 7 is lame. And though I've always kind of, my whole career, I've kind of now, right? I need a loan now. I need to close a loan now, this minute. I need a referral partner. That.
Cool. Number 3.
System, and I love knowing exactly what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to say that's a 9.
Cool. 4.
8.
You feel good about that one?
Yes. Years and years ago, when I first started in the business, a guy that was in another branch of my company, and he was so successful within the company that he began turning down all the company trips and things that he began receiving because he just didn't like them. And I really thought that it was pretty pretentious of him to, and at the same time I was kind of jealous that I wasn't getting there. But that was a big step for me in not wanting to compare myself to others. And just being who I am, and now for the next 10 or 15 or 20 years, however long I, in this business. And I just want to be the best I can and do the best for my family and myself.
Cool. That sounds great. Number 5.
9.
Hey, man.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I'm going to go to Rick after this on this. Now, if we can have in the chat box, anybody has any challenges, struggles, anything that they have. I also want to create some time around that too, and to be a resource for you guys. Is there something that you're having a hard time knocking loose, or anything? If it's on your heart, and then you're like, yeah, but then all these people are going to hear it and they're going to think it anyways. What I can tell you without a sliver of doubt, somebody else is thinking it. Why we do everything in groups is to also show you guys that you guys are actually the same, and that everybody has the same things. So we're going to go Brad, Rick, and then I'm going to open it up for anybody that has any challenges or anything, or that wants a little support around that. So Brad, you're up.
Yeah, so I put myself at an 8, like an 8, 9 there. Just finished reading the book Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. Yeah, it was right on point.
So that's a good book to get you tight on number one. If book to say, hey, you know what, kind of having a hard time with number one, and Extreme Ownership is a fantastic book around that number one distinction right there by Jocko Willink. Yep. Cool. Number two.
Number two, I put myself at a 9. That consistency, I totally agree with. That obviously want the results quickly, but there's a time and process, and the question becomes, hey, if you're doing the work to get there, then you feel good about it, versus if you're not doing the work, then it's a pipe dream.
Cool. Do you feel like you're able to? Does it make sense, the compound effect? That, you know, I'll give you an example. Eric Zanatelli posted in the thing yesterday about having 22,000 members, right? And he's been in for a long time, and the only thing he does is consistency. That's it. He doesn't do anything else. He's just consistent. He does it. And so think about how easy it is now for him, guys. This is why we teach it like this. Think how easy it is for him now to talk to a realtor and say, hey, I run a group that has 22,000 potential home buyers. Would you like to have a conversation to see if I can put your listings in there? Do you see how easy that is? You see everything's framed. Does that make sense to everybody? I'm going to pull everybody's up here. Like, I mean, I see everybody's head. Is there anybody on here? Does that make sense to everybody? And do you see, like, when I say things like the compounding effect? Now, if Eric had quit at month 5, I believe, is when he had like 111. Hey, I have 111 potential people in my thing. Whatever, you're cute. See you later. Right? Now, do you see how different it is? I have 22,000 in there. Would you like to have a conversation to see if I can put your listings in there so I can learn a little bit more about you? Do you see that everything's framed differently right there? And that's what we just did his numbers. He's been in level 2 for a year now, but we did his. He's almost looking at level 3, and he's going to very, like, from a place of pure power. He's like, yeah, I'm going to close 200 units next year. This is his 3rd year. So, Brad, the question for you and for you guys is, you guys aren't in your 3rd year. And it's a key question for each and every one of you on this call. Are you willing to do this for 3 years to get those kind of results? Not for Deryck Cheney, not for Sheira McKenzie, not for this. Are you willing to do it? Do you want to do that? Are you willing to put in that kind of time? That's the distinction around that question. And so, Brad, I'll bring it back to you. Are you playing that kind of game? Are you playing that kind of long game? Or what almost every human's playing is, that's really cute, but dude, my pipe, I don't have time to do that stuff. Do you see the difference right there? Do you see that? That's how it manifests in almost everybody's thought. Dude, that's really cute that Eric has that and that you guys talk about this stuff, but you don't understand. I only have 2 loans in my pipeline last time. So I don't have time to do that 5 or 10 or 15 minutes or 20 or whatever he's doing. I think now he's not doing anything on it. It starts going by itself then. That's the key thing for you guys to ask yourselves, right, Brad?
Yeah.
Do you have that kind of time? Are you guys playing a 3-year game? Or are you playing I'm only as good as my pipeline game?
Yeah, I look at it long term.
Okay, cool. Then I would give yourself a high mark on that one. Number 3.
Number 3, the mindset on the system. So I started coaching here a couple months ago and really appreciate the system. So that's something that, again, the execution, certainly not perfect with it, but I'm very excited to have that. Hey, here's going to be my most important thing that I do when I first show up in the morning. And that creates a lot of freedom for me. It kind of goes back to that compound effect question, is now I feel like I'm doing something that's compounding through time, that I realize it does take some time, but it's not just, hopefully more realtors, maybe some listing agents will start sending me stuff. Now I'm doing something intentional on that. And I'm pretty excited about it.
Awesome, man. Number 4.
And then number 4 is Yeah, I gave myself a 6 on this. That is, I feel like sometimes healthy competition is good, but it is, hey, you see the scoreboard, you see what other people are doing in the office, and there's that's something that I can continue working on.
Yeah, I think the distinction right there is that a lot of people could challenge on this, and it'd be fair to challenge on this, and especially so. I played professional athletics, so and it was definitively I like tennis is like boxing. It's like one dude wins and one dude goes home bloody. That's how tennis is, and so only by other truth in a tennis tournament. The way that you play tennis is so in a Grand Slam, 101 wins. So what you got really good at in tennis, in playing professional tennis, is you got really good at losing. Now, people the dumbest quality ever to get. Like, why is that helpful in that? Because what it teaches you is like this. God, man, if I would have done that on that point, I would have won. And then you're learning for the next one. And then you have to get up the next week and go play. Well, there's always another one. All you guys too in there, and for you guys to take away on that is, I just don't want you guys to get limited by, but I'm only as good as whatever I am on some scorecard or my neighborhood or anything like that. Because it's such a small game. Does that make sense to everybody? And you guys are made for things then, because if you get to be number one in your branch or in your bit of whatever you're comparing yourself to, is that really what you were created for? Is that it? Like, are you going to be like, dude, I got my plaque and I'm awesome and that's cool and my life's awesome, right? Is that it? Like, that's it. Like, there's so much once you get past that, you start thinking bigger than that. Is that fair? Cool. Number 5.
And then number 5, I gave myself a 7 on that. I think, again, with the morning system, being proactive with the morning, then it sets yourself up for the reaction. But I do see that I still, like to check emails and that kind of stuff before I get in. So that's something I'm still working through.
It's a tough one to get. And the only way to get it is to do it. There's no other way. So people, they try to kid themselves on all these different things. But, the phone was created to make you addicted to it. It just was. That's how it was created. That's why those little bells are on purpose, right? Those notifications are on purpose. Ding, somebody likes me. Yay, right? Ta-la-la-la, right? And it's created for that. That's how it was created. It was created intentionally. And so it's fine, right? I believe in technology. Obviously, I think it's awesome and amazing what it allows us to do. But you just can't get sucked into it, or your life won't go. Remember, if you guys were on in the beginning with the dude that, like the hurricane guy, if you just wake up, then that's what your life looks like. It's just, you're just like barely holding on. But the proactive stuff in the morning is what gives you the time to be growing and to showing up. And that's what you guys, because you guys are investing in coaching, it's amazing, right? Like, this is what this time is. This is what a live event is. You go, dude, what's a live event? Well, it's 3 days of this where you step outside and get outside your life and you can get intentional again. It's the car. That's what the live events are. That's how you want to orient around coaching, so that you can jump into the hurricane the rest of your day. But it's also getting the most important things done first. At least that's how I did it. I couldn't do it the other way. When I did it the other way, it was a miserable existence, to be quite honest. It really did feel like that hurricane thing. That's the best way I could describe my life when I wasn't doing that. Cool. Let's go to Rick. I don't see anybody, unless I'm missing it. I don't see anybody right now on here that says, hey, man, I've got a challenge or struggle or an obstacle, or I just want some support around this. I got a question too. I want to create space there. So, anybody that wants that or something has that or wants to have a conversation, put that in the chat box. If not, I'll just keep going down the line on this one. And I'll go to the top of the hour then on this. So we'll see what else we can get. So Rick.
So I gave myself an 8 on being responsible for everything in my life. Sheira and I talked about this briefly last week. Had a bunch of loans crater that put me under a threshold. And I was, for about 30 seconds frustrated. And I walked around the building once and said, you know what? It's just reaffirmation that I'm in charge of my database. I'm in charge of my Tuesday, Wednesday system. I'm not going to put myself in that position again. I'm going to build to never be in that position again. So, 30 seconds of like, shit. And then back to business, back being proactive.
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying it like that, because I think I started in that one being like, I don't give myself a 10 on that one. I think it's about an 8 for me in there too. But it is so freeing to, when I feel myself, the key distinction for all you guys is to become aware of the way that you feel. So if you're feeling bad, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling fearful, if you're feeling anger, if you're feeling frustration, if you're feeling that is your key right there to change that. You have the power to rechange that and to grow right there too. So cool. That was a cool distinction, Rick. Number 2.
Gave myself an 8 again. I really do believe in allowing the compound effect to take effect. And I'll tell you right now, the challenge I'm having is I started just before Thanksgiving, setting up meetings with referral sources and referral partners. And a lot of them are rescheduling or canceling. And
normal this time of year, by the way.
Right. And I just, I embrace it and say, I understand you have a school play, you have X, you have Y, you have Z. Let's catch up whenever you're ready. Here are 3 dates I'm open. And I just keep plowing ahead. Nice.
And that's right. And that's upper level. So good job, man.
Okay. Marketing systems are freeing versus limiting. You can ask the folks in the branch here, because a lot of us are doing your coaching and your system. A couple of them came up to me and said, how are you so consistent at that? I'm like, I'm just not smart enough to stop doing it. So I know I have to do it, because I'm not smart enough to create a successful business without a system.
And I don't think anybody is. I do a system, it's like, I don't think it's awesome. I don't like, I've heard it said like this, and I think it's really true, is, your business is as good as the systems that you have in it. That's just the truth.
Yeah.
And so it's, and having a marketing system is the only thing that's going to keep it growing in there. So that's funny the way that you said that. That's cool. Number 3, or was that number 3, number 4 maybe?
Yeah, number 4 is mastery versus competition. I've said this for years. I really just want to be better than the guy that I saw shaving in the mirror yesterday, except I'm not shaving for this month. But so I give myself an 8 because I don't necessarily look at the scorecard, but I do look at other things or other people's production and say, hey, if she's doing that, then yeah, I can too. So it's not a jealousy thing. It's
no, that's the right way.
Benchmarking thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, and let me just make a point right there. This point goes to everybody. This is why I actually request for you guys to share wins in the Facebook group. Okay. The reason I do that, I know that it might feel weird, or you're like, dude, that's kind of egotistical. I don't want to brag. It's not that. The truth of the mortgage business is you're going to have bad days. And so I want people to be seeing. So when you're having a good day and you've gotten some awesome results and you're happy, throw that in there, because it helps others. And yes, if somebody looks at that and be like, well, I can't believe that she's getting that and I'm not, that's on them. That's not on you. That's an area of growth for them to be like, well, what do I need to do? Because Deryck teaches the same thing to all of us. So there's no difference. They say, like, some of the people that are doing the best with this, Eric and like Jenny Stoner, right? She's in her in those branches. Like, they're not doing anything differently than anybody. They've just been doing it longer, and they do it more consistently, right? Like, that's the only thing.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Thanks. Number 5.
Proactive versus reactive. I'm such a system believer. I'm sticking with the 8 on that. I time block when I use the system, and then I use other time blocks for reaction. I'm imperfect with it, but so much better than I was, 9-10 months ago or a year ago. So I'm very fired up for it. It does leak away from me once in a while, like it does, I think, with a lot of us. But I recognize that, and like I said, take one walk around the building, go like, all right, back on course, dude.
Yeah, that's the skill right there, really, because it is a reactive business and they want stuff now, and you're dealing with very anxious people in a very anxiety state. It's I say it like this. It's like, they're not dying, but they act like they're dying. So it's very similar to an emergency room, right? It's the same emotion. They kind of attach it to, like, if I don't get this house, then I'm never going to get a house. And then if I'm never going to get a house, then I'm going to be bankrupt. And if I'm bankrupt, I'm going to be homeless. And I'm homeless, I'm going to die. Dude, I'm going to die if I don't get this house. That's how the loop goes, right? And that's why you guys experience it right there. So, and once somebody's in that state, you can't get them out. The only thing that you can do is get out of the way. I call it bob and weave in our business. Like, I just like, let me get out of here. You know, that's like, and so it's normal, and that people go through that stuff. And so it is like an emergency room. You know, an emergency room, they talk a very monotonous thing that, you know, they can't take, those doctors can't take that stuff home with them. I'll tell you this. I've been in a mastermind with doctors before, and I've heard them say this, like this should help out. Like, they'll break down and they'll say, hey, dude, in medical school, they don't tell you how to go out and tell a dad their child didn't make it. So you expect me to not come home and drink a full bottle of whiskey, right? With that on our head, you know, and there's people out there that have it a lot worse. And what's crazy is we make about the same money that doctors make. And they are acting like they're dying, but they're actually not. And doctors really do have to get that. So I know that that we can learn this stuff, but that's how that they can do that. Hey, listen, they did their best that day and it didn't work out and a patient died, right? Like, that might be crazy for us. Like, we're like, how do they even deal with that? Well, they have to, they're doctors, right? So we have to learn how to deal with that stuff right there. We're in the mortgage business, and that's just the truth. So guys, we're at the top of the hour right now, and I didn't see anybody ask anything about a question, anything else. We'll do this every month. You guys have a phenomenal holiday season. I think I'm going to see a lot of you guys in Elevate, and I'm super excited about this. We get to do this for 3 days. You get to get out of the hurricanes. You get to jump in the car of Naples, Florida on a beach in January. So if you're not there, we'll do something in January to around what we did in Elevate. You guys have an awesome holiday season, and I'll see you guys soon.